Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Thursday the 13th of September. So looking at the euro dollar first, and well, probably a great surprise with the ECB meeting today that the euro hasn't flown too much. I would say at this point there's some quite large option expiries. Now I think they would get smashed to pieces in real terms as they expire at 10 a.m. US time. Because the news will be coming out beforehand, but sitting around about 116, between 115.50 to 116.25, there's quite a lot of option expiries. I'm talking billions here, a total of over 4 billion sitting there around that area. Now it may be that it does hold on to it, but I wouldn't hold hope. So I think the market may well and truly move out of this range today, but not necessarily this morning. So looking down the time frames here, well, what we've seen is that within this consolidated phase, the trend line should probably be more of a sideward channel at the moment, because that's what we're sitting in. We've broken or walked our way almost. It did have a reasonable clear push up there yesterday afternoon. And it's broken out of that trend and closed above, but it's just in that sort of 1650 range now, up to 1650, down to 1525-ish sort of thing, maybe a bit more, 1530, somewhere in that region. Anyway, that all sits, and we can look at the technicals this morning, but that press conference at 1:30 will probably be the main thing. Anything at 12:45 would just give the market the initial, it'll set light to the litmus paper, but although no, it's not litmus paper at all, but the fuse, that's it. Anyway, depends how acidic it is. Right, so here we are, what we're doing at the moment on the shorter time frames, where it looks like we've done an air kiss off the daily pivot there. If it wasn't for the news today, I would be saying, well, it's got a bullish flavour about what's happening here, and it has the potential of breaking through those highs that I can draw the trend line on just for the sake of it here. One moment, there we go. He says, if only the drawing tool will work when you want the drawing tool to work. There we go, somewhere around there. You could possibly draw it slightly different, but there we are. If it starts breaking out through there, 1661 could well be a possible target, but we'll see. As I say, I believe those options may get smashed out of the water if the news comes out anyway, significantly different to expectation. So slightly bullish feeling this morning on that. Let's go and look at cable. We've got, of course, doesn't go unscathed. We've got the central bank meeting there at 12 o'clock. The rate votes will see everything. There's not expected to be too much difference there. I don't think we'll see too much come from that news event, but you never know. There may be more said about Brexit or something like that within the speeches or notes, or minutes, should I say, but that all gets released at 12 o'clock, so that could be a short, sharp move if there is one. Technically, ignoring all the news here, consolidation there, it's pretty much an inside buy yesterday, and well, it's not showing me too much of a clue, just sideward price tracking pretty sideways as well, effectively. If anything from here, I'm still got a hint of bullishness still kicking through there. I mentioned yesterday I was a bit more bullish on the pound than the euro, and of course it sold off nicely shortly afterwards, but it recovered, and still got a slight bullish bias from that. The 4-hourly was, as I suggested yesterday, and it hasn't really come out of that. It was an inside day, but I was showing the higher lows, higher highs running through this overall. So that's still got that technically in there. Of course, it could be hit by any surprises, but again, you could be drawing trend lines on from the highs down, and a break of that may see us push up towards the L1. Less influenced, of course, by speeches, because there aren't any, but may get slightly influenced by any ECB action. Right, that's the two that have got the news coming out on them. Dollar yen, let's have a look at the bystander. Well, is it? Okay, so that's in range as well. Another inside day yesterday for the dollar yen, and a little bit sideward rangey. So there's a pattern starting to appear. The bigger time frame here, you can see it's just really ranging between two levels or a couple of levels there really. It does, I said yesterday, it looks like it could push up. It took a while, and it's actually sold off, and again after it went through that pivot, it bounced off the pivot initially, then sold off later. Well, it's bounced off its pivot again this morning. Interesting thing would be to see if it can push back up towards yesterday's highs, the R1 there, or whether it's going to sort of roll through the 60-minute 8, 60-minute 21 sort of area and start breaking down yet again today. But it's already ticked that pivot off today, so nothing to charge for early in the morning. But we'll see how it runs through this morning. Slight bullish. I mean, it's broken the trend lines across there, so slight bullish hint on this pairing. Aussie dollar. Let's have a look at dailies first. Well, it finally managed to get off its monthly S1 pivot there, pushed on through the weekly pivot that had been drawing it for so long. Maybe we'll see at some point it push up all the way as far as its monthly pivot, which is still untouched. Still obviously probability and potential for that to happen. It has, looking at its 4-hourly, it has broken out of the trend that was sitting there with the low highs, low lows. It's in a sense it's broken the trend line across there yesterday on that 4-hourly picture. So looking like, well, potential upside. Now I say potential because as soon as you get down to this 60-minute time frame, then you can see, well, there's a bit of divergence sitting there and an untouched daily pivot. So I should watch this carefully this morning, see what happens. If it starts failing, well, there's a decent target to be had below. So I say decent target, it's about 27 pips. It's not that big. Maybe 25 by the time you press the button. So there's the potential for it to roll over. At the moment, it looks like it wants to head back up there, maybe put in a double divergence. On this move here, just seeing a bit of well, potential hidden divergence there, so that could pitch up further yet. Okay, and finally the Canadian dollar. Obviously no news out on the Aussie dollar. That's all done. That was the employment change. That came out pretty well there, plus 44. Right. Canadian dollar. So Canadian dollar continued yesterday this sell-off here, and well, pitched pretty much down. Now we've got a half decent trend running through here at the moment. It's consolidating where it's sitting. Maybe another retrace back to one of these key moving averages. We'll see another sell point. In fact, it's just got back to its daily pivot as we come through here. So maybe that's the start of a move down towards its S1 there this morning. But yeah, it can be a bit of a flaky one in the mornings. We often see a sort of an earlier move, then it sort of pulls back and goes. So be wary early morning trying to trade this Canadian dollar. But it does look like, well, at the moment it looks like nicely set towards that S1. And it is in the downward trend with lower highs, lower lows. Right, all done there. So just to finalise the recap, news today then at 12 o'clock we've got the Bank of England, I almost said the Bank of England ECB meeting. That would have been a fun one, wouldn't it? Give it a few years. No, the Bank of England MPC meeting even. At 12 o'clock, 12:45 we then get the European ECB refinancing rate come out, so we get the numbers and some notes, and then it's the press conference, which is the real key mover this later on, when Draghi has this habit of devaluing the euro. But we'll see if he does it this time. Okay, have a great one. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye for now.